Hi, this is Stephen with Affairs Management Interactive, and this is one of our informal learning session videos, this one for Polk County Fairgrounds. This is for some skills beyond the beginner, but still very easy. The first one is how to publish your floor plans for the public viewing. You can see we've got a list here that you can click pause on to review later, but we'll be going through the exact steps here in a second. The next skill we're going to look at is how to generate exhibitor lists and booth inventories. And this is another great skill for creating the lists that you'll need later, and to also look at the square footages and the types and sizes of booths that you'll be selling online. And the next skill is a very interesting one. It's how you can create a phone consultation with a client, provide them access to your layouts without the power to change them, but just view and provide you feedback, so that on a phone call you can automatically do the edits and reload them for the client to look at and create a final version. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to look at the how to publish the plans online for public access. Now, the assumption is that you contact Fairs MI and let them know which plan that you're interested in providing to the public. And you can provide unlimited amounts of events and plans in terms of public viewing. But you need to contact us first so that we can set it up. After that, it's pretty simple. We're just going to go ahead and use the Fair Layout Main Hall version of the Polk County. It's a 2019 craft show version. Very simple, but this will show you the principle of it. What's important here is that you go up here and you click the status or mode drop down and choose administrator. When you do this, it will create on the left hand side in your files menu a publish button, and all you do is just click publish. Once you do that, whatever you have on the screen will go to the assigned public access viewing. When you click that, you'll notice that it automatically loads the proper floor plan and the proper background. And you'll also notice that the tools are very limited here, and really what's only provided to the viewer is the ability to search by different methods. You can either do a list of exhibitors by name or by the booth number. You can also just simply click on the booth and it will pull up the name and information. Or you can do a search, and this you can do a lookup by booth number or by exhibitor. And again, this is a good way to provide your vendors and your attendees a way to see how the floor plans are developing over the sales cycle and eliminate a lot of unnecessary phone calls. So the next skill we're going to look at is how to generate an exhibitor list. It's very easy. We're going to go ahead, and this time we're going to choose again your main hall fair layout. But what we're going to do is we're going to click on the load master plan. Now what's important here is that you have to save to the master plan to create those lists. So when you have a personal folder, you want to go ahead and you want to use it as your main plan. You want to go ahead and click a save to the master list. You'll see here that we're generating lists by booth number and by booth exhibitor. The other thing we can do is your booth inventories. This is by your total booths, and it gives you the sizes you have and the square footages. We can also look at that inventory only by sold booths. Very simple. The key thing here is that you have to save plans from your personal folder to the master plan. So the next thing we're going to look at is how to do that consultation with your client. Now this involves creating a login for your client with, and this is important, an exhibitor status, not a sales status. So we log on and we go over to register user. Now we use our login, the same one we logged in with to get on the planner, in here to get into the register user. Type in our username password and click login. And now we're going to click on add, because we're going to add an exhibitor. So we'll make up a username and password. And I believe the only thing that's required is that you have a email and that you have a, what they say, originator, which you just name yourself as the person that created the record. Now what's important is you leave it as exhibitor status, and then under this custom menu numerical you put 0. Now you'll see that we haven't quite finished what we needed to do, so this is what happens. A little pop-up comes and says you need to put email. So we'll put email and we'll put originator. This automatically filled all mine. We hit save. Now we go ahead and we close that screen down. Now if we log in, now let's go ahead and log in under the exhibitor name that we created so we can see what your guest is going to look like, or what they're going to see when they get on the screen. So now you'll see that a lot of the tools have been removed, but the files menu is there so they can load the layout that you'll place for them. You'll instruct them to go to the drop down to the proper layout, and you'll ask them to go to a personal folder load. Here we see we don't have anything in there yet, but we know what the screen is going to look like in terms of what controls they have. So let's go ahead and go back into the administrator login. Log in as ourselves. So this will teach you, what we're about to do is how to transfer one of your plans to another person's login. So again, we're going to go ahead to that utility map for the craft show. We're going to hit OK, and there's our map. Now here's where we change user folder. And now we type in our guest. So what's going to come up is their personal folder for us to save that floor plan to. Now we hit save. There's that empty dialog we saw. We're going to go ahead and put a floor plan. We can just name it anything we want and hit OK. So now when we do our consultation with our guest, they will be able to pull up that. See, we're going to hit load, and that will pull up that floor plan for them to look at. Once we've done our consultation and they give us feedback, we can change that floor plan and we can actually reload it up for the client and allow them to give it an approval. So that's basically it here. We've done these video learning sessions for a little while now, and they're very informal. We just go ahead and wing it in terms of the narrative, but it gives you some information that you can review and learn some new skills. Thanks so much. Fairs Management Interactive. Hi, this is an addendum to the previous video. The first one has to do when we're using our master plan. You need to remember that each selection in your drop-down is assigned to a specific master plan. So when we start creating master plans for your various events, you want each of those events individually to be in that drop-down and not just a generic area. You want it to be specifically assigned to a certain show, because if you create a master plan for another layout, it will overwrite what you had previously for that section of the drop-down. And go ahead and drop me a line and email if you need more questions on that. The second thing is when you're doing your guest logins and you've changed users to drop that floor plan from your personal folder into theirs, make sure that you change back to your own personal login so that you're working in your plan. So what happens is you go ahead and work in your plan, make the changes, and then reload it into their plan so they can see it. I hope this isn't too confusing, but it's just an addendum onto that previous video. Thanks so much.